Hello and welcome back everyone to this live demo session on SAP UI5 and Fiori training with me Anubhav on Business Application Studio with BTP. In this live demo session, we are going to learn about basics of what is SAP UI5, followed by a system demo on Business Application Studio tool. Let's try to understand what is the agenda of this demo today. So first, we are going to learn about who is this training for, what is the developer persona can opt for this training, and how it is going to help you in the professional career. We will learn about the overview of this training, what can you expect in the next 40 hours of this course. We will discuss about our use case for the demo, followed by some of the frequently asked questions and live question answers from your end. My name is Anubhav. I have total 18 years of experience. I have been working on SAP UI5 since last 7 years. I have worked on all the different variety of applications, both freestyle and extension of standard application, on ECC, S4HANA, and other SAP backend systems. I will be your trainer for the next 40 hours in this journey of UI5 in Fiori with a promise of no copy paste of code. When you try to learn UI5, most of the trainers on the internet, they perform a copy paste of code to show the demonstration. In this training, we are not going to do any copy paste. Rather, we are going to write every single line of code so that you can understand the meaning of it to gain the right expertise. Let's understand who's this training for. So if you are a technical SAP advocate like Ryan Khan, who is working in the industry as a part of the UI technology team, and you would like to learn the new UI technology SAP UI5, this training is going to help you. If you're working as a UX designer like Charlie Gutz, who is currently working on mockups and designing the UX for their customer, would like to venture into the real technical development, this training is also going to help you. If you are like Rahul Sharma, who's an application developer, which most of you are as an ABAP consultant, as a portal consultant or BSP or WebDin Pro consultant working today in SAP world, but want to upskill yourself to build beautiful Fiori apps on ECC and S4HANA, this training is also going to help you. Or if you are like Soham, who is a fresher out of college, just came out of college and looking forward for a job opportunity, would like to learn a technology which will help him to shape career in the field of SAP, this training is also going to help you. This training is the first step to work to become a full stack SAP developer. Let's try to understand the overview of this training. So this training duration is total 40 hours. In the first 25 hours, we are going to learn the fundamentals of web development. We will learn how to set up our development tool, Business Application Studio on BTP free trial, and VS Code. We will learn about core concepts of web development like HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. In the phase 2 of our training, we are going to learn the core concepts of UI5 framework with software development kit. We will utilize the MVC architecture to build our Fiori apps. The third phase talks about Fiori app development end-to-end with SAP Fiori mobile libraries, including latest concepts like router, route match handler, manifest JSON, and UI5 tooling. The final phase of this course, we will learn OData development to build OData services on top of gateway system to expose your ERP data to Fiori apps. We will learn the complete life cycle of a Fiori application starting from design to development to testing to packaging, deployment, and transporting to quality and production system. This 40-hour training is designed for an absolute beginner or an ABAP consultant who have never worked on UI5, but now you are seeing that most of the companies and the new projects are coming on Fiori and UI5. There's a demand of an hour to upskill yourself in the new technologies like Fiori. This training is certainly going to help you to shape up your career, going out from traditional ABAP and contributing more to the latest projects on S4HANA. So what do we see in today's demo? In the today's demo session, I'm going to show you how to launch your development tool, so-called SAP Business Application Studio, how to create your first UI5 project using MVC architecture, then test your application in the browser. This is what we will see in today's class. So let's start and begin with introduction to what is UI5. So let's discuss about what is SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 is the new UI technology from SAP, which is a successor of GUI, WebDintro and BSP. Is the new UI technology to build responsive web application and is the successor of SAP GUI, WebDintro and BSP technology. It is a framework which is based on libraries to quickly design user experience. So that is what exactly the SAP UI5 is. So as you can see that UI5 is SAP's new UI technology. If you're already working on SAP field, as a developer, you may be today using dialog programming or WebDintros to build applications. With SAP S4HANA as the new ERP, the standard UI technology now is SAP UI5. If you notice, we are talking about building a responsive application based on a framework. So let's try to understand what is a framework. A framework is nothing but collection of libraries. What is a library? Library is nothing but is a collection of classes. What is a class? Class is nothing but it's a collection of properties, events, methods, and aggregations. So basically, SAP is providing us a collection of classes to build our user experience, which is going to help companies to build applications which can run on mobile devices, any platform, and any browser. It is used to build responsive web application. So a responsive web application is the application which adapt itself according to the device. That is the definition of a responsive web application. So when you build application using UI5, you can ensure that your application works on any platform and any device. In order to build UI5 application, we need to follow below steps. So what are the steps you are going to follow to build a UI5 application? Let's talk about those steps. So the first step is we are going to launch our development tool called SAP Business Application Studio. It's a web-based development tool available free for all of you in a trial version to get started your development for UI5 application. Today is a demo session. I have already set up the BAS tool, but in our tomorrow's class, I'm going to teach you how can you set up your BAS tool. So I will show you now the BAS tool. This is how it looks like. It's a traditional SE80 like a screen, what you use in SAP if you're already doing SAP development, where on the left hand side, you can see the project explorer. All the project files can be seen here. On the right side area, we can write all the code and develop our application. So this is just like your local computer where you have folders, and inside the folders you can create project. So now let me click on open folder and I open a projects folder to start building my first project in the BAS tool. The second step is we need to create a basic skeleton of our project, which is nothing but a folder inside the BAS tool. The folder should have a web app folder, which is called in short web application. So let's go ahead and create our first project. So we come to the BAS tool in the projects folder and create our first UI5 project, call it as UI5 demo. When you build any project, you should follow proper folder structure. So let's create a web app folder inside web application. And together with that, we are going to add a file called index.html. Index.html is nothing but the starting file for our application. Yeah, it is a first file to test our application. Just like when you start reading a book, you have index in the book. Similarly, when you start a Fiori application or UI5 application, it starts with this first file. It is typically a HTML file. So the step number 3 was add a index.html file to the web app folder. A HTML file consists of two parts, header and the body. Header is the brain and body is what the content we want to show to the user. So let's go ahead and add the HTML structure. So we will add first a HTML top node, which is the main document, and it has a header, which is the brain, and the body, which is the content. So that is how we structure our HTML page. Now we can just say, welcome to Anubhav Trainings. I would like to now test my first web application in the BAS tool with just like a hello world example. Please note that this is right now not a UI5 application. It's a plain web HTML application. So now I'm going to test this file by right click and say open with the local 5 server. This is how you can preview your first web application. When I do that, it is going to launch our web application in another browser window. You can see it shows welcome to Anubhav Trainings. Fantastic. So our next section, we are going to now start using UI5 framework. So as I mentioned, UI5 is a framework, which is a collection of libraries. So to load this collection of library, we need to call a special statement. Just like in C program, you use hashtag studio.h, hashtag conio.h at the beginning to load the C libraries. Similarly, here we are going to load SAP UI5 framework. So we use a script tag in a HTML page to load any third-party libraries or frameworks. So now we are going to go and load the UI5 framework using the script tag in the brain section with a source. Where is my UI5 library? Where is my UI5 framework? So there is an address provided by SAP called ui5.sap.com/resources/SAP UI core.js. This is the address provided by SAP to load the UI5 framework. I will explain you in the next class how did I got to know about this address. So we will learn about UI5 SDK, from where I got this detail of this address. Along with this, we will also load the library. So as I mentioned, SAP UI5 framework consists of libraries. So we say data SAP UI libs equals to sap.m. It's a mobile library. I will also load data SAP UI theme, and I will load SAP Fiori dark theme. That's a theme I'm going to load. I will also go ahead and say data SAP UI resource roots, and I will pass here an address of my root. Basically, the web app directory. So we are going to specify that my current working directory, which is the web app directory, is going to be named now something. So I'm going to name it as, let's say, Anubhav. So what am I telling is my current working directory dot slash, which is nothing but the web app. So you can notice that this is current working directory of index.html. It is web app. It will be now named as Anubhav in this project. So whenever I want to reference my web app directory, it will be called as Anubhav in my project. This concept is called namespace. We are going to spend 1 hour on this topic only on this line in unit number 12. So this is entire code, and this entire code is known as SAP UI5 Bootstrap. So in interview, if somebody asks what is Bootstrap, it is basically a piece of code which will be used to load the UI5 framework in the browser. Now you can see that it is going to load this dark theme. The theme will be applied on the page when we mention a classification property SAP UI body. Whenever we do this, that's when the theme gets applied automatically. Yes. So what we will do now, we are going to go back to our output and we are going to test our app again. So this time you will see the background color of my page should change to dark color because of this theme. So let me switch over back to the output and we will refresh here. You can see now the background changed to black color. It's an indicator that our UI5 framework was loaded successfully. That's why the theme was loaded. Yeah. We are going to spend more time on this topic in unit number 12 and 13. Now for next step, we are going to use a UI5 control. So what I will do is I will now create a view. View is nothing but the screen. So we will actually follow MVC architecture to build our applications. So here we will now be creating a view where I will be writing some piece of code to show a button to the user. So let's go ahead and create a new file called main.view.xml. So .view.xml here is the extension of the file, which indicates that this file is actually a view provided by SAP. So I will go to the view and now I can just create this view in a layout editor, you see. So you can right click and choose layout editor to start editing your view in a graphical editor provided by SAP. So SAP provide a beautiful graphical editor. With the help of that, anybody can develop the view quite easily. They don't need any coding experience to begin with to develop the view. So you just have to put the extension of the file as .view.xml, which would then eventually allows you to open this in a graphical editor. Now, before we open the layout editor, we need to also add a basic skeleton to the view. So any view in UI5 starts with a namespace called core with a view definition, and we need to define this variable core as SAP UI core library. So this is how exactly we define a brand new view in SAP UI5. Basically, to define a view, we use the core MVC library provided by SAP to declare a brand new view. To declare the library name, we use here the core as the namespace. I'm going to talk about what is an XML, how to write an XML, as I know most of you come from non-technical or non-XML background. We will spend that 1 hour only on this topic in unit 14. But for now, you can see this is the basic skeleton to define a view. I will also define the XML namespace, default namespace for mobile library, which we are going to use as part of this session. Yes. So let's open the view again in the layout editor. So last time you saw the view was not opening in the layout editor when I was trying to load because the basic skeleton was missing. But now when we go to the layout editor, you can see the layout editor is opening. So the layout editor allows you and me developers to create quickly the screens which we desire. So here the system will be loading for us all the respective controls which we can choose from the available controls provided by SAP, making it easy for us to develop our experiences and user interfaces quite fast in an easy manner. So what I will now do is choose a control. So let me increase my screen size by clicking the button on the left, and let's add a button control on the screen. So I'm going to drag drop the button control. Let's change the label for my button as Anubhav button. And I'm also going to add an image control by searching image and drag drop the image control which comes with the default UI5 logo. I will now change it to another logo. Let me search for Donald Duck. So that's my favorite cartoon character. And I'm going to use one of the Donald Duck's logo, maybe this one. Right click, copy image address, switch over back and paste that over here. Nice. I would now go and make the button as or the image by default as invisible. Yes. So we will make it visible false. The image will no more be displayed to the user at the beginning. So that is the skeleton of our view, how we created a view. Now comes is the code for this button. So whenever user click the button, it should trigger the logic. For that, we switch over to the events and we will be writing the event code inside a controller. So a controller is nothing but a class which can contain functions where we can write our logic. So let's create a controller class, main.controller.js. And there is a skeleton which we follow, like in Java or ABAP or UI5, you write a class in any programming language, class name. Similarly, here we have a skeleton called SAP UI define to define a class. So this is the skeleton to define a controller class. And since this class is a controller class, we need to also use a special library called SAP UI Core Controller Library. This is a dependency which we need to add to define a controller class. Yes, I think your core controller. We will return now an object of this class. And now here we have to put the address of this class. So as I told you, the web app folder here will be named as Anubhav. So it's anubhav.main as the name of the class. So we will pass the address and here we can write our logic. So let me write a logic, say Donald function. And when user click the button, we are going to trigger this Donald button. So we go to the view and for the button, we add an event called press event. And we say, please trigger my Donald action, which I've defined in the function whenever I click the button. But the view does not know that who's the controller for the view. Where is the class where the code is written? So this linking we need to also do. So what we specify inside the view is a controller name. And we say anubhav.me. That's the address of my controller where I have my code. Yes. So here is I have my code and I will write my logic. So what I will do now is I'm going to take this ID of the image. So let's give an ID, my image. So at runtime, what happens whenever the button is clicked, we are going to basically show this image to the user. Yes. So initially the image is false. We are basically going to go back to call a function SAP UI get core. Please get me the application object. Get me the object of my image, or we can say, please go to the view and get the object of my image with its ID by my image and then set visible to true. If you are not able to understand today's lecture, don't worry. We are going to spend considerable time 1 hour only on these 4 lines, and 1 hour only on this event handler, and 30 minutes only on this line in our unit number 15, 16, and 17. Today is a demo session, so I'm just showing you the capability with one example. If you are functionally able to digest, that's more than enough. So on click of the button now, we are going to trigger this Donald action, which is going to make my image visible to the user. That is the code for our button. Fantastic. So we linked our controller also, and we have added our button press action, which will trigger the function. So we are now ready to test our application in another session. Yes. So let me start once again my application by right clicking open with Wi-Fi server to start and test our app, which will start in a new tab. You can see the application started, but it is still showing welcome to Anubhav Trainings. So basically what happened is we created the view and controller, but we forgot to add that in the index HTML. So what I will do now is I will create the object of my view, which I just created, and place that in the body of HTML. So let's create object of my view, new SAP UI view. I'll pass the view name, Anubhav.main, that's my view name, that's a full address. The type of the view is XML. And I will place this view in the body of HTML. So this is my content area. So let's create a content area with the ID content, and we will be placing our view inside this content area. So we create our view object and place it in the body. That is what we are doing. Let's come back and refresh the page, and we should be able to now see our view. You can see the view is still not loading. So now I need to just go ahead and make a small change to the class name as /MVC because that's a correct class name. And when you come back to the screen, you can see the button is working fine now. When I click the button, wow, there you go. We have got our Donald Duck. So in the last 30 minutes, we have learned about how to create your first UI5 application by adding a index HTML file, a view, which is the screen part, and a controller where we write our logic. We have done that with the help of SAP UI5 framework. Of course, if you're not able to understand everything, don't worry, it's a demo session. In our regular classes, we are going to spend considerable amount of time on each of these topics in detail. And that is how we are going to learn entire UI5 end to end. Having said that, let us move on to some of the frequently asked questions by all of you in the previous classes. So we move on to some of the FAQs now. So the first question here is, what will be the duration of this training and are there any prerequisites? So guys, the duration of this course is 40 hours and there is no prerequisite to learn this training. You just need to have the basic programming skills and you should be having some zeal to learn the UI5. That's all is required. Training time doesn't suit me. Can I go with the video mode training? So of course, yes, you can opt for the video mode training for the most recent batch videos and ask your questions over the email. This option also applies to the people, those who want to fast track their learning and don't want the live batch to finish. So what will be the tools to learn and where can I get those tools? So you don't need to worry. We will be covering everything for you. We will be building our application on Business Application Studio and VS Code tool. In our next session, I'm going to teach you tomorrow how to set up and install these tools in your local machine and get the access of the BAS tool for free. The VS Code tool is absolutely free for a single developer. and we will be utilizing that as well as part of this training. What about server access to practice OData? So guys, it's my promise that all of you will go out of this training with real hands-on experience. We would need the OData server only in the last 10 sessions. So in session number 29, I'm going to guide you how to get the access of your OData server. We will require and explain all the component we need to learn OData basics as part of this training. You all will go with the real-time experience consuming your ERP data via the OData server. What will be covered in this course? Will this course be a real-time training? Yes, you will learn end-to-end process for developing your Fiori apps and also finally connecting it with real SAP data. You will learn how to deploy and deliver Fiori apps to production system. I'm new to UI5. Can I learn? Anyone can learn with us because as I know, majority of you are right now working as ABAP consultant. You would like to learn this course to pave your way towards the new S4HANA projects and build Fiori apps, for which we would require the basic knowledge of web development. So in this training, we are going to cover for you the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript and jQuery, which makes enough room for you to build end-to-end UI5 and Fiori applications, and it lays the foundation for the same. If I miss a class, can I refer? Yes, you can watch the video recording. Every class will be recorded. If you miss or even not miss a class, you will have video recording access so that later on you can watch the video recordings. Most importantly, what's the process to join this course? To join this course, you just have to drop us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com and we will help you to subscribe for this course and so that you can join in us this training starting tomorrow. So tomorrow same time we have our next session and the topic for tomorrow's session will be setting up your development tools. Having said that, it's a wrap on this demo session today. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Thank you so much for making your time today for this live demo session with us on SAP UI5 and Fiori. I hope to see you tomorrow at the same time in our next episode.